Good morning, students. I am L.K. Tripathi from APM Public School. Now, children, we shall discuss about the visit of Wen Sang's account. Wen Sang has written so many things, so many records he has presented before us when he visited to India during the reign of Harsha. As you know, in the last discussion, we have discussed about the Harshvardhana's reign. Harshvardhana was undoubtedly a very prominent ruler of that period. So, about the Harshvardhana, we collect information through different accounts written by the then travelers. So, one of them, the Wen Sang's account, is very authentic for us to get information about Harshvardhana's period. So let's get started. Wen Sang's account. A Chinese Buddhist scholar named Wen Sang visited India in 630 century. Out of the 15 years that he spent in India, Wen Sang stayed for 8 years at the court of Harsha. When he came to India, he stayed for more than 8 years in Harshvardhana's court. He also visited the court of the Chalukya king Pulkesin II. He has left a detailed account of the events of those times. Now, what type of society was there that time? This also information we get through his accounts. According to Wen Sang, people were simple, honest, and hospitable. The rich lived in big, well decorated houses, while the poor had simple mud houses. People lived peacefully. Most people were vegetarian, and the use of onion and garlic was avoided. The caste system was very rigid. People were divided into numerous castes and subcastes. The untouchables were treated badly by the upper caste and had to live outside the city. Traders and craft persons lived in the towns. Marriage and eating outside the caste was prohibited. Sati system was prevalent at that time. There was no veil system, but women's social status continued to decline. The main occupation of people was agriculture. They grew grains, pulses, fruits, and vegetables. Apart from farmers and peasants, other important groups of craft persons were potters, goldsmiths, blacksmiths, carpenters. These were hereditary and casteless. Administration. Harshvardhana's administration was decentralized, like that of the Guptas. Local officials had the power to take administrative decisions. The administrative units were similar to those under the Guptas. The whole empire was divided into provinces. The provinces were divided into districts, and the districts were further divided into villages. Each province was under a governor who was given land grants instead of salary in cash. The chief source of income was land revenue. Craftspersons too had to pay taxes. Revenue officers were responsible for collecting land revenue at the rate of 1/6 of the produce. The money so collected used to ensure good administration, maintain the army, and give grants and donations. However, trade and commerce did not flourish rapidly. A number of cities declined at this stage. Harsha had a powerful army that included the infantry, cavalry, elephants, and boats. Religion. Before embracing Buddhism, Harsha worshipped Shiva and Surya. He was tolerant towards other religions. He attended the Prayag assembly, in which religious decisions and debates were held for many days. At the Prayag assembly, the Buddha, Surya, and Shiva were worshipped. At this assembly, Harsha gave donations to the Brahmins, Buddhists, the needy and poor. He also convinced the fifth Buddhist council at Kannauj that lasted for 25 days. The Chalukyas. The Chalukyas ruled over the region between the Vindhyas and the river Krishna. The Chalukya dynasty was founded by Pulkesin I in about 535 century. Their capital was at Vatapi in the Karnataka region of the Deccan. The most famous king of the Chalukya dynasty was Pulkesin II. He was a contemporary of Harshvardhana. Pulkesin II ascended the throne in 610th century. He checked the advance of Harsha to the south and defeated him. He was threatened by the Rashtrakutas and the Pallavas. At this time, the Rashtrakutas were not very strong, so the main threat to the Chalukyan dynasty came from the Pallavas. Pulkesin II defeated the Pallava king Mahendravarman. Later in 643 century, Narsimha Varman I, the son of the defeated king Mahendravardhana, defeated and killed Pulkesin II. He also plundered and captured the capital Vatapi. Ravi Kirti, a celebrated poet in the court of Pulkesin II, wrote a prasasti describing his achievements as a ruler and military leader. This prasasti is engraved on the wall of a Jain temple at Aihole. It is from this prasasti that we learn about Pulkesin's victory over Harshvardhana on the bank of the Narmada. According to this prasasti, Pulkesin II ruled over a large area extending from the Arabian Sea in the west to the Bay of Bengal in the east, and from the river Narmada in the north to the river Palar in the south. That's all. Rest we shall discuss about the trade, about the religion in the next video. Till then, thank you and goodbye.